I am here. I am back. I'm sorry it took me a little while. Was celebrating Easter weekend with the family, but I heard there was a new behind the scenes look at Superman with a bunch of new footage. So I'm very excited, obviously, with what I'm wearing. We're gonna watch it together and then break it down. So let's do it. Ready? Here we go. I'm excited. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
Being a
oh,
child,
it's
I
the stunt double. The fucking cape looks amazing.
Superman. There was a
Christopher!
time when I was starting to understand what movies were.
Yes, yes, same here. Oh, damn, that those
Didn't know
movies.
that Superman was in his future. He wasn't sure that that was the.
He
one
didn't want to
should
do
be
it.
doing.
He's, but
And then he called me one day and he said, "I have a way in.
okay.
I know what I want."
Because I remember he tweeted that he didn't want to do
Trying to
Superman,
crack it
but
for
then
years.
I didn't realize he was
This
actually a
character's
huge
noble,
fan.
and he's beautiful.
Yes, he is.
We just finished day
And
one
you found a
on
great one.
Superman.
Rachel.
Hell of a week at the office.
Hey, he's all burned.
It's so unique. His story is that heartfelt.
Nicholas.
We love the
Great actor.
opportunity to
Oh!
play the incredible
That's a
library of
real robot? That's
stories,
practical
and we
effects?
really want to do justice for them.
Well,
Oh, Metamorpho!
so much fun.
Oh, she looking nice.
Together finally.
Jimmy! Ultraman, what the fuck?
I wear my trunks on the outside of my pants. Like, it's liberating.
Yeah. I love them smiling. Ah, Lex Soldiers.
Does it with
Nathan Fillion. I love Nathan.
Superman is a character who's good.
Yes, good. Hope, action, man of action. Oh, he's coming after someone.
He saves people because it's the right thing to do.
The right.
We could use a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Superman was my original superhero, and it started on.
Hey, 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 Frank.
Game-changing.
Oh, is that Lex Luthor in his suit?
launching a new era right
Mech
now?
suit.
It's the beginning of
A
whole
new era.
adventure and a whole new universe.
Oh, he looks really good. Man, his eyes.
We're just getting started, and we're already.
I don't know much about
DC
David, but he really.
users. In James Gunn, we trust, and I
Seems-
think we can do it.
James could we trust his cringy. That's a lot of pressure on James. Jesus, military. Oh, Lex in the fort. Oh, I love that freaking style. I love that logo. He's really made that his own and cool. Okay, well, oh my gosh, that's it. Okay, another short trailer. There was a lot of new bits here, so this could potentially be spoilery. But yeah, let's break it down scene by scene. I love seeing the stunt double here. The stunt double is over here, only without the yellow belt. Maybe they're giving him his suiting him up. Maybe these are promo shots, so they don't need the yellow belt because it's a far away bit. But what I really want to point out here is the fucking cape, man. The cape is so key. And I think Man of Steel really gets the cape extremely well. Brandon Routh's cape, I hated. It's like this pleathery looking thing. It's fucking awful. But this cape looks good. Okay, so... Oh shit, did I put in the original audio? I didn't mute the original audio, so that audio is going to be playing over. Hopefully I don't get copyright claimed. We'll see. If I get copyright claimed, I might have to clip that whole thing and then just come to the breakdown. But seeing David more and more in the suit, it's making me love it. And then throwing back to Christopher Reeves, this is perfect. James sharing his personal story. This shit is shot on location in the fucking cold. Yes, not just a fucking green screen. Loving the boots. I love how the boots, you know, Brandon Routh's costume, the more I think about it, the more fucking I hate it. It's ridiculous. They had these little Superman symbols on. It was a little overdone. Here in this version, these are boots, you know, so I like it. Well done there.
Sure that was the
Really cool boots. I guess that's how he zips it up. Zips
one
it
he
from
should be
behind.
doing. And then he called me one day and he said, "I have a way in."
All right, so James Gunn found a way to do Superman, and I think it's a combination of not doing the origin story, which I was very concerned about. I didn't want to have to go through all that shit over again. In this universe, there are tons of heroes already out there. There is a ton of super beings. It is basically like the comics. And I really like that. Now, that worries some people. Some people are saying, hey, there's too many heroes. I'm hearing too many names. I'm hearing too many things packed in there. But my suspicion is that that while there's a lot of people there, they're not all given equal time. Some of them kind of show up maybe a little less than we think they show up. But in order to build a new DC universe, one where there's heroes out there already, and then Superman is showing a different way to save people, his way, the true justice in the American way, is gonna be. You have to set up the universe like that. So we'll see if that factors in. Okay, so On Location, love it.
I know what I want to talk about.
I had been
Knows what he wants to talk about, and I think that's Superman's way of doing things, and how some other heroes look at it as antiquated. Maybe, we've seen Stag Industries, we've seen Maxwell Lord stuff in promotional stuff, so maybe, it's more corporate. Heroes are kind of marketed, and rich people employ them and use them, put them on missions and stuff. But Superman's like, hey, we should be here for everybody.
trying to crack it for years.
Well, I hope he's finally found a way to crack it. And so far, from all of the stuff I've seen, starting with Superman in a vulnerable state, I never friggin' thought of this. I never thought that this would be the first images that you're showing of the new Superman. An everyday man putting on his boots, beat up, having, not being this overpowered, superpowered being where he can't get hurt. These are all genius ways to crack the code and make Superman more relatable for people who, need you to do all the hurdle jumping for them.
And he's beautiful.
We just finished day one.
He is beautiful, and so is Rachel. Rachel is precious. She's very cute. She has that. I no wonder he's chosen her as Lois Lane. She definitely has an energy about her and feels very Lois. I think so far my favorite Lois is Margot Kidder. There's no doubt about that. She's the best Lois. It's just like, who's the second best? Is it Brandon Ruth's Lois? She's very attractive, but I don't know, didn't really feel like a Lois. Is it Amy Adams? Again, same thing. I like Amy Adams a lot, and I like how she had her own things to do in Man of Steel. I'd probably put Amy Adams at number 2, but then there's all the TV Loises. There's just a lot of Loises, so I'm hoping that Rachel can actually come up and steal that number 2 slot. We're gonna have to see.
On Superman.
It's been
And seeing Superman in the suit, this is fucking a treat. And hearing him talk, because he's been beat up pretty much this whole time that we've seen him. So initially, his face, like, I'm unfamiliar with this person. Who is this person? I don't know your face, is kind of the vibe I get initially. But focusing on the suit, it's so cool. I love that there's going to be battle damage on it. I love that it's not this Kryptonian battle armor that cannot be harmed and will not change. This is a suit. I don't know if his mom made it for him. That was one of the best things ever in Superman and Lois series. The scene where he's like, thanks, my mom made it for me. I love it. But this does evoke that. And so it's got burn marks. I think this is from the Kaiju battle. So
week at the office.
we get the office, and then here's, I think, what do you think this is? Yeah, this is Superman. This looks to be the stunt double doing some kind of stunt work. This appears to be a sci-fi exterior of a ship, maybe. And then Nicholas Hoult, a lot of people don't know, he actually auditioned to be Superman, really wanted to be Superman, not only for this, but I think previous projects as well. Didn't land it, but he landed Lex Luthor. And so that's actually perfect because it's that jealous, that Lex who's kind of jealous of Superman. It plays perfectly in there, and I think he's one of the better actors in the whole project. I love Nicholas Hoult, and I love the fact that he's Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman, amazing Lex Luthor. The Clancy in the cartoons, quintessential Lex Luthor. But I'm hoping to have another good Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg, awful Jolly Rancher Lex Luthor. Let's forget about that. I think Nicholas is already by default better than that. And very traditional Lex, obsessed with taking down Superman. And several reasons for that, what I see here in the trailer. It just seems like Lex is just constantly throwing everything he has at Superman to take him down. We've seen Lex Soldiers. We've seen Ultraman. We've seen the Engineer. We've seen, and is Lex connected to Metamorpho, who we'll see here soon?
Is that how it felt?
But I love his costumes. There was recently an action figure where he's in a purple suit. So while you have a more realistic take on Lex, what he's wearing here, James is not afraid to play with colors, to put out a wacky kind of comic book vibe later on in something like this. So more behind-the-scenes stuff in the Fortress of Solitude. Oh shit, is that Kandahar? Is that the city in the bottle? No, that looks more like control pieces and crystals, just like the original Superman films.
Love the opportunity.
And this is amazing to see the practical effects. Oh, and you even see Metamorpho's suit over here. So the practical effects are amazing. You have the puppeteer back here doing the hand thing. That shows passion. That shows artistry. Now, is it all going to be, puppetry and practical? No, my guess is that they will mix some CGI elements to it, but the fact that they would go that far and create practical effects makes me love these robots even more. If you didn't like the robots then, you probably are enjoying the robots a little bit more now, unless you're a curmudgeon. So I like that.
To play with the
This is very cool. It looks like Superman upside down. You see the back of the neck and the cape. It looks like he's landed on dirt previously and is getting up. Just fascinating framing and shots. Here's Lex Luthor, surprised looking, almost shocked, almost a little bit of mixture of fear. This is why I say Nicholas is such a good actor. I get the feeling like this is after Superman was hurt, maybe that first scene that we've seen in the trailers, and then after the robots heal him up, and then he comes back, and that's later in the trailer we see Superman walking towards him all really fast. I feel like that's what this is.
Characters
and then Superman, so much taller than everybody else. This is probably done on purpose. David Cornsweet is a tall man. He's 6 something. I gotta figure it out. But he's got that mop top.
We really want to do justice for.
And this is really, really cool. Seeing Hawkgirl. Now, Hawkgirl's actually in The Last of Us, too, and I actually really like this actress. I think she's doing a wonderful job and one of the better parts of The Last of Us Season 2. So I'm actually excited for her debut as Hawkgirl. She seems to, shorter, smaller, maybe not quite as tall as the comic books Hawkgirl, but who knows? I mean, she's got the hammer. The suit initially I didn't like, but I think there's a reason for it, that these are the heroes that are maybe a part of Stag Industries or Maxwell Lord's crew or some kind of corporate heroism. But the more I see it, the more I love it. I think it's really, really cool. And maybe by the end, she might ditch the leather outfit, keep her helmet, and obviously the hammer, and then go from there. But the next shot is what really is. These feel like promo shots, where they take pictures and they stand and then they have posters from it or action figures from it and things. I don't think these are actually in the movie because you could see that there's really nothing there. So I think it's just a promotional shot.
For them.
And then to see Metamorpho in his full glory, not a CGI shot, not a big old fucking CGI mess. They could have messed this up so bad, and they didn't. They fucking got this right. And he looks like he's wearing like prison jumpsuit or some kind of joggers. But other than that, it looks fucking amazing. Metamorpho, never expected him to be in the film. What the fuck is Metamorpho doing here? Is he, a villain of the week that they take care of really quickly? Is he allied with Lex? There is a lot of villains here, and I will give you this. But I think it's probably going to be done in a way where it's like these people exist, and these people might be threats in the future or potential allies in the future. Maybe he's also a part of the Stag Industries superhero team, and so he's not meant to attack Superman or anything, and he's out there actually helping. It could go either way, but it makes me super excited to see. I guess he doesn't have the same kind of leather stuff that the others have, so maybe not. But it looks so good.
Welcome to the Daily Planet.
And love Lois Lane, love her outfit here. The Daily Planet, that's something that I'm going to have to get used to. It is a modern Daily Planet. It is a social media Daily Planet. It is, NBC, CNN, Fox News kind of Daily Planet. So they make it look like that, and they have all the computers and stuff. It's not the Planet of old, where it's a newspaper, it's a news organization, and I think they've done well here. I like the fact that they brought the globe inside. The globe better still be up on top of the building, but having it inside too as a part of the lobby is pretty cool.
Much fun to have the gang together.
And then there's Superman having fun with Jimmy Olsen, Superman's best friend. It's good to see that. Having fun. And this paper actually, the Hammer of Bovia. Yeah, Bovia. And that plays in later on. And you're going to actually, if you zoom in on that image there, you'll see that actually connects to something later on. So let's keep going. And then there is Perry White, who is the head of the newspaper. I'm hoping he yells at Clark. I'm hoping he has a good presence. And yeah. And then James Gunn here continuing to... Ooh, let's see if we can pick out anything. No, it looks too blurry. Very clever to... hide these because that essentially could be your whole movie or mini sequences of the movie. Shot of Ultraman here.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Opportunity.
And together finally. Have the gang together finally.
Okay, these are gonna go by really. All right, these are gonna go by really quick, so I have to go frame by frame. So we have Ultraman here. I think it was a good idea to have Ultraman. We don't really know who he is and what he's doing in the film, or if he really is Ultraman. I only call him Ultraman because he's got a big U on his chest. He seems to be working for Lex. He seems to be a superpowered being, almost like like a Nod or a Zod or Ursa, on the level of a Kryptonian. There's rumors he could end up being Bizarro by the end of the film, take his mask off, see who he is. There's lots of different ways they could go with this particular Ultraman, but it does seem to be a Lex-based, worker and villain here. And that's interesting. Which is crazy. And then you get this shot of Hawkgirl just putting a man through a window, which is freaking crazy. And I think that, I don't know who this is, but I'm going to wager some guess here. I think that this is either James Gunn's brother playing Maxwell Lord, or this could be Stag from Stag Industries, Mr. Stag, having to do with, that's why these heroes look so corporate looking and look so uniform. They have these leather suits. Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern, Hawk Girl are maybe working for this man, and then when they figure out that he's done something nefarious and that there's a villain plot afoot here, this is Hawk Girl getting back at them and breaking free after seeing how Superman went about things and seeing that Superman's way of doing things is the right way. So I'm excited for that. I really hope this is the payoff for that shot. And Hawk Girl doesn't mess around. She's not about safety and putting people away calmly with handcuffs. She's going to put you through the window if you piss her off. And here we have that one country. Now, I've seen some fascinating theories, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And this is what it is, because it has been in the news tickers that it is actually Bovia. And if you don't know Bovia, this is such a cool throwback that James Gunn is doing. When did Bovia first show up in the comics? It's a comic thing, by the way. And when did it first show up? Superman #2. That is so awesome that we see shots of Superman #1 where he's holding up the green car and everybody knows that classic. But now James Gunn is like, okay, now we go to Superman 2 and we take some pieces there. And I think this whole movie might be related to that plot line. So Barovia was this country in the comics that was consumed by Civil War. And you had a Barovian munitions magnate named Lubane hired an international armaments racketeer named Bartow to steal a formula from an American chemist. So that's how Superman gets involved, where Superman intervened in a number of situations where civilians were endangered by the warring forces while he's on the hunt for this person that stole the formula from the American chemist. And so I think that's what this is. But they move it around and they change it around so that it gets more modern and can speak more to modern conflicts and wars. And so this is definitely a warring nation that I think Superman eventually intervenes in. And what I'd like to imagine is that it's a clever plot from yours truly, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, instead of it being sort of an armaments racketeer, well, he's providing, maybe his Lex soldier suits, maybe advanced technology, kind of like an Iron Man thing where he makes all the weapons, and he's trying to influence that, and Superman comes in on the other end in some way. But I love this discussion of the trunks. There was a time that James might not have done the trunks. He actually called up Zack Snyder, got Zack Snyder's opinion, and Zack was like, I have done hundreds of these, and I just have not been able to get the trunks working. Zack and James Gunn would asked some of his actors what do they think, and it was actually David that was advocating for the trunks, and I'm really glad that they're in there. And Nicholas looking over at him, he's like, you son of a bitch wearing that suit. I should be wearing that suit. I auditioned for Superman. My girlfriend thinks that that he would be a good Superman, but I don't know. I can't see him as Superman now that he's got the bald head and he's doing this.
I wear my trunks on the outside of my...
I love how bright this fucking costume is. This is so hopeful. I still have a problem, and this behind-the-scenes trailer has exacerbated that problem and made it a little bit bigger and worse. There's two things with the Superman suit that I don't like. Love everything else. Love the logo. Love the cape. Love the icon on the back. Like the belt. Love the trunks. The two things, and you guys already know it, is all the MCU lines. It's a little too Kryptonian. I actually do like the gauntlets, too. Look, this one has gauntlets, and he has half gauntlets. So I like you went halfway. But the bagginess and the MCU lines, I need those removed. If we get a Superman 2, if we get Superman in additional media in the future, get rid of those two things, and you've got a 10 out of 10 suit for me.
my pants. Like, it's liberating.
God, it looks so good. Okay, so let's do these. This is ooh, guys, look at this. There is just so much packed into this movie. So you have the Lex soldiers here, and this is going to be Lex's technology, and that's definitely going to factor into Borovia. But look at what we have here. This character here, I'm going to zoom in. This is a bit of, I'm so surprised they put this in the trailer. This looks to be, I can't, it's either a white Martian? Are they going that crazy and introducing Martian Manhunter and his whole kind of world and universe? It could be a white Martian. It could also be Parasite. Parasite's another option for this particular character. But the fact that Lex has access to all this and all these people working for him to take Superman down, it's crazy, man. This is the most maniacal and badass Lex that we've probably ever seen on screen, and I'm here for it, and I'm waiting for it, I'm ready for it. And then he has that cult peacemaker, probably with kryptonite bullets. The man has an arsenal. The man is out on a mission against Superman. So I don't know. Maybe this is a tease for future villains and storylines for Superman, but it's crazy they put it in there. And then here we get a really good look at the Lex soldiers. Awesome that they're using purple and green. These are Lex colors from Superman the Animated Series, from the comics. And I definitely think that it is Lex Luthor trying to supply Borovia, at least one side, maybe the government forces, with military equipment and arms deals. And so he has a whole team dedicated to that. Now, what's interesting here is you see Ultraman is hiding behind James Gunn, and you have the Engineer, and it does have the kind of same motif. So do these two lead the Lex soldiers? Does he send out Engineer and Ultraman into battle? But Ultraman, I don't know, Ultraman feels like he's based on Superman, like a clone, and he only showed up after Lex did some experimentation. There's just a lot packed in here, and a lot of questions. I'm excited to see how do these all factor in. She's got that huge smile on her face. She's obviously out of character as the Engineer, but I'm curious. This is going to have to be a lot of CGI because of the Engineer, how she can like shape shift and turn her arms into guns and basically manipulate molecular matter and stuff like that. So that'll be interesting. A lot in here, a lot of opponents for Superman to deal with. Here's James in what I believe is Mr. Terrific's ship. And this is probably how he gets around. This is probably a mobile lab for him and stuff. So a lot of people are thinking, is this, Kryptonian technology? Nope, it is Mr. Terrific, Earth-based. And then here's our Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. Goofy Guy Gardner with his hair. I actually really like some of this kind of stuff here. You got director James Gunn, and then what is this? Henry something, maybe the cinematographer. I'm not sure. I can't see it, but it's really cool custom, what do you call this? Clicker or snapper, but really cool. Just to help the editor out and all that information. I love that behind the scenes stuff. Okay, we see that shot again. That's Lois showing her love for Superman.
Superman is a character who's good.
I love when Superman comes back. There's a lot in here. I love when Superman comes back. He is just rushing down Lex. He's going to get in his face. And then this has been several good scenes where Superman in the movies and in the cartoons is confronting Lex face to face, just fucking pissed off.
Is filled with hope.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Borovia in the film, some kind of side plot line. Superman goes over there to help, and maybe that's what actually initiates an international incident where they're like, everybody's telling him, you had no right to go over there and help, and Superman was just like, I I was there and I helped. It's the right thing to do, and maybe that is the central story, and that's how Lex gets involved because he's like, you're messing up my plans, and so then he goes against Superman for daring to do that, and the fact that Superman is going to basically get in the way of his plans in the future. That's what I think.
He saves people because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, such a great shot. This kind of this kind of was the Brandon Ruth Superman where he's holding up, reminds me of that. It also reminds me of Superman Comics #1 where he's holding up the car. And the suit looks good. I really got to say the suit looks good. Even with the MCU lines, it's something that I can get used to. It's something that it doesn't bother me too much because I like it. Would I prefer it without? Yes, definitely. I hope eventually they take it off. So, yeah. And then here you can see the other part of the suit that I don't like, the bunching up, the looseness of it. And there's really, hopefully in the future they take care of that. So it seems padded. It seems like he's small, but trust me, David has done the work. He's worked out. He has the physique for it. And that's what I'm hoping that in future iterations of the suit can help show off. But you see the stuntman over here. That's pretty awesome. And then clearly this is from the Kaiju flame scene where Superman is floating and he's taking a full blast of Kaiju fire, dragon fire. And they're doing the lighting for that.
More of that.
And this, man, she really looks like Lois. They've done some really great casting.
Superman
God, I love the flow of the
was my
cape.
original superhero,
And then here we have Frank telling his love of Superman. This is a lot of people's story. And if you understand and you're with us, then you totally get it.
started on.
Now, I heard, I was like, okay, so this is probably the first transition from an animated character who voiced an animated character into a live-action movie character who is the same actor. This might be the first time this has happened in the DC universe, and it's Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo is actually really popular in China. I've seen him in a lot of Chinese movies. Unfortunately, with this fucking trade war that's happening, there's rumors that China is not going to allow a bunch of American movies in, making money in China, since there's a big war going on. Hopefully that stuff can ramp down by the time July 11th this comes out, because it would be a shame and it would hurt Superman's box office if it's not allowed to be over there, especially when you have an actor, Frank Grillo, who they like. Now, what I heard is that Frank in the cartoons has white hair. And this has been a question. Why is his hair black? Well, there was a scheduling conflict. So not quite as bad as Henry Cavill's mustache. When they have to CGI, they just said, well, fuck it. Just leave his hair the way it is. Contractually, we're not allowed to change that because he was working on another project. So his hair is supposed to be gray or white. And maybe they'll do an explanation in Commandos for it. But since it's such a small detail, that's something that you can let go in movie magic.
In comics, and I think it's going to be a game.
Here is the hammer of Bovia, which you see earlier. I think that this is actually secretly Lex in the suit. So it's kind of positioned as this is a villain and a superpowered being, or a villain from that country, has nothing to do with the U.S. and that. It could be that. It could be a completely separate character, but I think maybe in order to stir up shit and in order to stir up that conflict so that Lex can then come in and act like the savior and sell weapons, it's actually Lex in there. And then when he does battle with Superman, when pretty much all else is failing and his empire is crumbling around him and all the heroes that he's misled is turning against him, he's going to take matters into his own hands maybe and have a final fight with Superman in the Lex upgraded mech suit, change the colors maybe to purple and green. That would be really awesome. But this guy, yeah, he was teased in that newspaper that we saw Clark holding earlier.
Be a game changer.
But this is really the comics and the animated stuff come to life. I am so happy with the direction that James Gunn has taken here, that it's not this morose and real, what would it really be like if Superman was in the real world and the real world sucks? This is a comic book storyline. This is what we've been reading and watching for years and years as big fans of Superman, and now come to life in live action.
This is the beginning of the future.
He looks he looks completely different without all that stuff on his face. Interesting.
They are launching a new era right now.
And I love his swagger, his walk. This is Lex and all of his money and technology and machine that he uses is a genius in order to subjugate and dominate and become a leader and get all the attention of the public that Lex so desperately desires. And Superman comes in to fuck it all up.
It's the beginning of a whole new.
He's looking up. This has to definitely be Superman looking at that kaiju, perhaps doing battle, or maybe the destruction that the kaiju has caused.
Adventure in a whole new universe.
He looks so good. Look at this man. This is like, if you're looking at dailies or you're looking at shots and photo ops, you're like, okay, who looks like a Superman? Who could be the next Superman? This is what convinced it for here. His eyes, the strength in his face, but yet there's a kindness there. That's what you had with Henry Cavill. You need to continue that. The hair looks good. So, yeah. I think by the end of the film, we're really going to believe that this is Superman. Love the way he looks. Think they got that right. And now they're showing all the different shots of different people looking up in the sky. I think maybe perhaps this is either during the kaiju battle, maybe the kaiju comes down to Earth or something and then starts to do battle, or this could be at the end of the film where Superman wins and he's just like kind of flying and patrolling and people are just looking up at him because they're in a more reverence kind of way.
We're just getting started, and we're already deep in the DC universe.
And I love that Lois says that. She makes it clear that in this particular version, we are already in the DC universe. It's not an origin. We're not going to slowly introduce all the other heroes in the universe. They're already happening. And then Superman shows up. I think that's a unique way to do it.
James Gunn we trust, and I think we can do.
A little cringy. She seems a little nervous. She's like playing with her hands here. I like his smirk and his laugh. In James Gunn we trust. It's a joke. And that's an incredible amount of pressure on James Gunn, man. I would not want this job. Like, you do this and you have to do it right. You cannot fuck this up. So I'm putting a lot of credit to him. It's a difficult job. It's a hard job. And then plus, you have to be like, well, you can get a perfect script, you can get a perfect movie, and it could come at the wrong time. It could get destroyed by Jurassic Park and Fantastic Four, and it can be smashed in there and not make the numbers it needs to make. It could be the wrong time in just the what do you call it? The feeling of the country, the politics, and people just hating on the film and trying to make it, drag it into the conversation there, and letting one side just hate on it and one side defend it. And then you have all the Zack Snyder stuff, where it's like these Zack Snyder people that go a little crazy and a little too far are going to do everything they can to discredit the movie, and hopefully it fails because they want Zack Snyder's universe to come back. It's a lot. It's a lot of pressure, and I know he's on social media, and I hope he doesn't let all that noise get to him. This seems to be the shot with the kaiju, I'm pretty sure. So they're probably putting cameras on that end of the windows. This is a building exterior, and then the kaiju flame hitting it so that they can get what it would look like, a shot. However, I don't understand how there's 3 different flames. So the kaiju should, all the flames should be coming from the kaiju's singular mouth, but maybe it's just a bigger effect. Or maybe they're filming it 3 times and choosing the best shot. And here, again, here's Superman getting hit with the kaiju's flames. And it's cool to see the behind the scenes. I always wondered, like, how do they get the lighting? Well, it's a bunch of LEDs that they could probably change this RGB to any color they want. Yeah, he just got hit with the flames. She's looking up, perhaps Superman doing battle. Here's a U.S. military member. This has to be U.S. because it looks like the Daily Planet exterior. So maybe when the kaiju's doing battle, at least the military does respond. Here we have more military members. However, there's also some Lex armor here. And this is Lex armor painted in U.S. combat. So I don't know if this is U.S. or Bovia. It's hard to tell right now. I'm gonna maybe say the U.S. and then so maybe Lex has been supplying weapons to that military, but the background definitely looks that same background that they had with people flying the flags. Okay, I cannot believe I did 40 minutes from 2 minutes. I'm so sorry, guys. This is, and we're still not done. They're doing frame by frame. Y'all are some dedicated mofos if you're still here. Here's the big reveal. Lex makes it inside the Fortress of Solitude. He wrecks shit. He learns about Superman through all of these crystals. So clearly he breaks it. He kills some of the robots. That's going to be a heart-wrenching scene. And, you know, this might be Superman at his lowest point. And this is a huge reveal that Lex breaks in there. And there's Superman ready to go into freaking action. And he looks great in these shots. And he's about to fly because he's got they're about to lift off. And then there's I like this effect. This is like unnecessarily 80s Stranger Things, but it just works for some reason. I love it. All right, guys, that's it. You know, only your boy, Angry Joe, big Superman fan, can turn a 2-minute trailer into a 40-minute discussion. I'm so sorry. You brought it upon yourself. The boys aren't here to hold me back. So thank you very much for watching this, and I will get out of your hair and your day for today. But much Superman love. This just shows me on Superman Day the behind-the-scenes look that James Gunn understands. I'm loving every single thing that I'm seeing coming out of this. I think it's going to be great. Will it have some problems? Maybe. I mean, almost every film does. I'm just hoping that that he actually executes what's most important to execute with Superman, and then as he builds the universe, we can get additional movies and we can get other things correct and right, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.